Last week we did on the 10 best cheap cars you can buy for under £5,000, and I said if I got 1,000 likes, make the same video again at under £1,000. First of all, you guys smashed it, got 1,000 likes, insane stuff, thank you very much. And number two, I've not smashed it. I literally didn't like the video that I started making at £1,000, so instead I've done £2,000 instead, where I think I can talk more freely about these cars. If you want to see the 1K video that I scrapped to make this video instead, then hit the like button, subscribe as well if you know that. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's kick this video off with arguably the best looking car on the list, even if it is the slowest to 60, the Alfa Romeo GT, which hosts a 1.9 litre turbo diesel inline-4 engine, producing 150 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 9.3 seconds. This is the spiritual successor to the classic Alfa Sprint, being a two-door coupe sitting alongside the Brera. I think it actually looks really cool and different, with the interior coming from the 147 hatchback as well as some of the external pieces, and I've always liked the look of the 147 personally. It also came with a lovely V6 engine, which is a tad out of our price range, but in JTDM spec it might actually be one of the cheapest Grand Tours available on the market, so ideal for someone looking to do a nice road trip in a good looking Italian GT. These run you around £1,000 at the bottom end, with 2K getting you a high mileage 2007 model. Injector problems are known, as well as some electrical failures. Next up we have one of my favourite little cheap warm hatchbacks, the first generation Suzuki Swift Sport, which comes with a 1.6 litre inline-4 engine making 123 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 8.6 seconds. These are popular cars for people just getting into track driving, and they've been used in track and off-road race series around the world because of how cheap they are to buy and maintain, and how well they handle from factory. In fact, they literally had a Swift Sport take part in the Junior World Rally Championship in the Group N class, so effectively a road car modified for rallying. They look a tad more aggressive than the standard Swift, but also come with a nice sporty interior with optional Recaro seats and the likes. These start at around £1,000, with 2K getting you into a 2007 model with high mileage. Clutch problems are known, and some owners complain about rattly dashboards. In the sub 2K price range, I think Roadsters offer the best value for money, but of course I'm biased with my £1,000 MX-5. The MG-TF is a great example of this though, with its 1.8 litre inline-4 engine making 134 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 8.2 seconds. The TF came as a re-engineered version of the previous MG-F, and its biggest problem unfortunately was that engine, a Rover K-series block, which is renowned for head gasket failure, more so in cars like the TF as well for being mid-engined, with greater difficulty cooling. Ignoring those issues for a second though, I actually think it's a great looking little car, and being a convertible it offers a pretty good level of fun for such a low price. These are listed anywhere from around the £1,300 mark, and 2K gets you a 2003 model with 60k on it. I mentioned the MX-5, let's talk about one, the second generation to be exact, which offers great value for money. The only reason you buy a Mark 1 MX-5 over a Mark 2 is because you want pop-up headlights and something a bit more certified with classic status. Pretty much everything else is worth going for a Mark 2 instead. The MX-5 has a 1.8 litre inline-4 which puts out 143 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 8.1 seconds. This car will offer you a ton of fun from standard, but it also benefits from having a massive aftermarket for modifications. These can be perfect track cars with their incredible handling, but your imagination can genuinely run wild in one of these. Unfortunately though, rust is a very well known issue, particularly with these cheaper models. You can do rust repair and proofing, but it can be expensive if you can't do it yourself. These run you around £800 at the bottom end, then 2K gets you 2005 model with around 40,000 miles on it. If you know the channel, you'll know that I like cheap luxury cars, particularly older ones, and the Jaguar XJ fits the bill perfectly with its 3.2 litre V8 engine producing 240 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 8.1 seconds. This is the X308 generation, which was around from 1997 to 2003. It's of course a full-size luxury car built with passengers in mind, hence that old school interior is a thing of beauty. It looks like an old Regal hotel lobby or something in there, and it comes from an era where having as many buttons as possible was all the rage, hence the dashboard. Because of how classy it is, it was used as the prime ministerial car for Tony Blair, which is in line with other British PMs using the XJ as their cars. These start at around £1,500, with 2K getting you a 1999 model with 100k on it. The V8 is actually really good in terms of quality, especially when looked after well, but corrosion is known around the underside and suspension might have age-related wear. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, then do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new. And a quick one, let me know in the comments down below what the best car is that you could buy for under £1,000. I was struggling with it so much this week trying to build that video, so let me know what you think it would be. The first generation Ford Fiesta ST had to be on this list with its 2-litre inline-4 engine, which makes 147 brake horsepower and will do 0 to 60 in 7.9 seconds. I've mentioned it in a very recent warm hatch video as a great little car for the money, given its slightly more aggressive looks, but not ridiculously so, and the decent handling as well. Honestly, if you've been to track days or car meets, these are incredibly popular and versatile. It came with larger distinctive alloys, the slightly lower and stiffer suspension, the upgraded brakes, and nicer sportier interior, though for me the only thing that lets these down is that interior. It's not quite as good looking as the outside. I would hazard that the untouched best examples of these might one day become cherished, given the love for fast Fords and the number of these that have been modified. These start at around £1,000, with double that getting a 2005 model with 100k on it. Owners complain about poor fuel economy, clutch issues, and rust too in particular. Next up we have the Toyota MR2, another roadster which comes with a 1.8-litre inline-4 engine that makes 138 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.7 seconds, not bad for such a small car. This was the third generation MR2, which was the first to be built in the context of the MX-5's success, hence it went down a slightly different route to the previous two generations. It is a faster car than the MX-5, though the handling was always known to be a bit less predictable, with people spinning quite often in these in the wet. But as a car I think it's quite cool, given its engine is found in the middle of the car like the MG, which is in part why people would spin, being used to having engines in the front. It's the most expensive car on the list, starting at our 2k limit, and you'll get a 2002 model with 100,000 miles on it for that kind of money. And that engine is generally not bad, just the pre-cats are known to go, and some have had issues with suspension failures. On to the top three now, and in third we have the BMW 120D from the first Gen 1 series, which comes with a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4, putting out 174 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 7.3 seconds. That diesel engine is known to be very good from a tuning perspective, with a simple stage 1 remap owners talk about getting 30 to 40% gains in power straight away, which is pretty insane. This car came as a hatchback, coupe and convertible, with that hatch having 3 and 5 door options, but for our price range you'll likely only get into a hatchback, given the coupe is probably the most sought after model. That's no issue, as the hatchbacks are definitely the most practical, with decent boot space too. These are a bit boring though, but the performance absolutely does the job. These run you around £1,200 at the bottom end, and 2k gets you a 2004 model with 90k on it. There are some known build quality issues with these, and timing chains can also wiggle their tensioners loose. It's another car owned by BMW now, the second generation mini hatch Cooper S, which comes with a 1.6-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine, making 181 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 6.8 seconds. I had to include a Cooper S in this price range because they do handle really well and don't look half bad either. Like the Swift, they've been used in race series around the world and remain a really cheap route into owning a car ready for track driving. Some brake pads and good rubber and you're golden one of these, but like the MX-5, the aftermarket is massive, so you really can go all out on making these things perform and handle exceptionally well. But there is a slight issue with these. They cost less than the first gen Cooper S because those engines were known to be crazily unreliable in comparison to the supercharged first gen. It's a real shame, so do go in with your eyes open. These start at around £1,800, with 2k getting you a high mileage 2007 model. Taking the top spot is the first generation Audi TT, specifically with the 225 BAM engine, a 1.8-litre turbocharged inline-4 which puts out 221 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 6.4 seconds, very decent performance at this price range. The TT is being cancelled this year, 2023, which is definitely a bit sad, as these have offered decent value for money sports cars for quite some time now. It's hard to get your hands on an all-wheel drive turbocharged Audi for this kind of price in such a sporty package, and the TT will absolutely go down in history as a classic car. Of course, for your 2k you're not getting a perfect example, but given that engine is so well known and used across so much of the VW group, maintenance and modifications are very easy to do. These are listed anywhere from around the £1,200 mark, with 2k getting you a high mileage 2002 model. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new. Massive thanks to the patrons for their support, and to you guys as well for watching. And if you want to watch a video on the best cars you can buy for under £10,000, then click up here and subscribe down here.